Hello there, Rabbi.
Morning, Joe.
Well, it is a good morning. It's nice outside, but of course, it's a very sad week. Yet another mass shooting occurred last night. Earlier, the mass shooting in Texas of the grade school students. We talked about this a little before we hit the record button, and we could not agree on a solution. And I propose still, and you can give me your arguments, why can't we just ban all the guns?
The Supreme Court has ruled, and people could debate this to no end that they were right or wrong. That's irrelevant. They ruled that owning a firearm is my constitutional right. And you're not going to take away my constitutional right to own a firearm.
Well, let's see. Firearms definitely shoot things, okay? As opposed to a car, where the car is designed for one purpose, to transport you from one place to another, and correct operation of it is supposed to safely accomplish that. But with a firearm, you're definitely shooting at things. So it's a question of what you shoot at.
Okay, well, let's stop right here before you go on. With a car, you get something called a license because it's not your constitutional right. So it's different. You cannot compare gun ownership or guns to car driving because owning a gun, having a gun is my constitutional right. I do not have a constitutional right to drive a car. The state issues a license, which allows me to do something that's not in the Constitution.
But we can change the Constitution. That's this thing called an amendment.
And there's such a thing as a snowball in hell. Let's see how fast that happens.
But is that your argument, that we, just because nobody's going to vote for it, we shouldn't even try?
Yes, that is my argument, because no one's going to vote for it. No one will support it. Why do you want to waste your time on something that won't work?
But that was true of women's suffrage. That was true of abolishing slavery. These are all things that were enacted as efforts to stem the tide of something terrible. You know, whether it was having women be in charge for a while or not having a drink on a Saturday afternoon football game.
Well, the big difference, Joe, we know with Prohibition, it created more. In fact, during Prohibition, depending on where you were, you could get a drink in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or if you were in New Orleans, the cab driver would give you a drink. So it's only a matter of seconds. And several Canadian families made billions of dollars and are still very wealthy because of American Prohibition. It went against what Americans wanted. Voting, slavery, Americans actually wanted those things. That's why they came to be. You have the majority of us who don't want to give up our guns. So I think there is a big difference for trying something that isn't going to work. You're not going to get my gun.
But aren't you making the same argument that some people make, that all drugs should be legal because there's no way you're going to stop it anyway?
But again, you're talking about laws. I'm talking about the Constitution. The Constitution does not guarantee your right to use substances or to use substance. It's not a constitutional issue. You're dealing with my right as an American citizen.
Well, I would say pursuit of happiness, but we'll leave that one aside for the moment. So what's the answer? Is there no way we can reconcile all these things? I don't think there's anybody who says school shootings are a good thing or a right of the Constitution, but there's no obvious way to stop them, because you're right. If we make all guns illegal, they'll just all be hidden in people's drawers and in basements, and they'll still be around if somebody wants to shoot somebody.
Correct. And the change will only come when, as a society, we think of safety for everyone. Remember, mass shootings get the attention, but on any given day here in DC, 7, 8 people are shot and 4 or 5 are killed. And that's in Chicago. Every day, 4 people are killed, 8 people are shot. And my statistics may be slightly off, but you get the point. So the school shootings get our attention, and we want to do something dramatic. However, until as a society, we acknowledge that we need to deal with the Constitution, we need to look at happiness for all of us and safety for all of us. Until that day comes, there is no solution. Because I'll constantly bring up, it's my constitutional right, Joe.
Well, you can bring it up, Rabbi, and I'll always be there to listen to you bring it up, but I'm still a little depressed that we can't solve this problem. What comfort can you give to us poor souls who do not see an answer to this problem?
Society will change. There is a quantum amount of death, whether it's mass shootings or shootings in our individual cities. There will come a point where, as a society, we will look at each other and say, you know what? We can't tolerate this. We can't have this anymore. We now need to change the understanding of the Constitution, and we have to change our laws to stop all this killing.